much, Dr. Raju, and thank you, team DOA, Karan, Dr. Dhananjay, and it's a real honor to be able to present a lecture on a very important topic, which is an enigma in itself, in front of such an esteemed panel. And I hope to demystify this to some extent with this lecture. So cartilage lesions can be classified into focal cartilage lesions, which is the topic of concern in our present talk, or diffuse, like osteoarthritis, which I would not stick to because it's a topic in itself. And when you manage it, you take into consideration the size of the lesion, you take into consideration the pathology, the cause of the lesion, and the depth of the lesion. So these are the three things you consider before you decide on a particular modality to treat it. And size, we divide it into those that are less than 1 or 2 centimeters squared. We call them small lesions, something like this. Those which are 2 to 4 centimeters squared are called medium lesions. And those that are greater than 4 centimeters squared are large lesions. So this is something we quite commonly encounter in our orthopedic practice, an MRI like this with a lot of bone edema. So this could be due to an acute incident or a traumatic or a chronic incident to the bone or the cartilage. Now, whether acute or chronic, the causes are variable. Could be osteonecrosis, traumatic, very common, overloading, OCD, osteochondritis dissecans, or steroid usage. And depending on the size of the lesion, it could be either small or large. So we know that articular cartilage has various, cartilage is made up of various layers, starting from the articular surface to the superficial deep layer, and ultimately the subchondral bone and the calcified layer that separates it from here. So grade 1 lesions, it's important to know these grades because your treatment is dependent on them. So ICRS and Outerbridge are the biggest grading systems. So ICRS refers to those where there's a little bit of softening of the cartilage is grade 1. Grade 2 are those that extend variably within the cartilage layer depth. Grade 2, Outerbridge also takes into account the diameter of the lesion as less than 1.5 centimeters, which is ICRS, which is Outerbridge 2, or greater than 1.5 centimeters. And those lesions extending all the way down to the calcified layer, but not through it, are ICRS grade 3. And grade 4 are those that extend all the way into the subchondral bone. Now, subchondral bone is extremely important for nutrition. It helps in load bearing, and it's a warehouse of bone marrow stem cells and growth factors. So before any cartilage repair, the take home message is consider subchondral bone. So if we look at this is the layers of the cartilage. They act like the subchondral bone acts like a trampoline. So it basically takes the load off the cartilage layer, as can be seen here. So what are our management strategies? They are divided into, for simplicity, repair, which involves refixation of lesions or microfracturing of lesions, regenerative procedures where we try to create more cartilage, like autologous chondrocyte implantation, better known as ACI, or reconstruction, which is your Oates mosaicplasty, allograft transfer. So we can broadly classify it into these 3 categories. So let's start with refixation. So typical traumatic lesion that we received is one of my patients. You can see the lesion arthroscopically. I like fixing them arthroscopically with multiple biopins to stabilize them, as can be seen here, which stabilize the lesion and help in healing later on. The other possibility is to do a suture bridge fixation. So you may have a large osteochondral lesion like this. I like fixing them with bead pins carrying non-absorbable sutures like the suture tape that are delivered on the lateral or medial cortex. So I put them in a cruciate fashion and tie them over a bone bridge, or you can even use a sort of implant on the lateral or medial aspect. Microfracture is something wherein we stimulate bone marrow stem cells to be released to produce fibrocartilage over our lesion. So look at this typical lesion. First thing you do is debride it till you reach the calcified layer, then use a curette to remove the calcified layer. Once that's done, using a bone awl, multiple trephinations are made in the bone to reach all the way to the subchondral bone to release bone marrow stem cells, which ultimately lead to healing with fibrocartilage. So certain technical tips here, so should be done in outer bridge, 3 or 4 lesions. Your pick should be directed perpendicular to the lesion. There should be at least 3 to 4 holes per centimeter that are 3 to 4 millimeters apart and about 4 millimeters deep. So how do you know you're deep enough? You'll see fat droplets. So that's something to look out for. Then we move on to osteochondral autograft transfer, Oates, Mosaicplasty. They're both more or less the same. It's just the company. One is Smith & Nephew, one is Arthrex that manufactures these kits. They are used for more active patients. And typically these are the lesions that you get. First thing is to measure the lesion with a TAMP. Then to go through adequate depth to the lesion to accept osteochondral plugs that have hyaline cartilage in them. These are harvested from non-weight bearing areas like the lateral femoral condyle or the intercondylar notch. So these plugs are taken and then fixed into these lesions as a press fit sort of fixation. So you do 1, 2 or whatever, depending on the size of the lesion. And this ultimately leads to a hyaline cartilage cover. So best done in those less than 45 active people, and the bone plug length should be at least 15 millimeters, if not more. It should be kept proud rather than subsiding them because bone overgrowth rates are less, and best results are with 1 to 2 plugs. More than them, the results are not as great. Next, we come to autologous chondrocyte implantation. So this is best done for active people with larger lesions. And when the lesion is more than 6 to 8 millimeters deeper than the subchondral bone, we may have to graft it first. Because remember, the subchondral bone is very important for cartilage regeneration. And this is always a 2-step procedure. So what do we do first? We first clean up the lesion a little bit. The next step is to again harvest cartilage bits from non-weight bearing areas. These are then taken to a lab and put into a medium which is cultured. These are then harvested from this after about 5 to 6 weeks, mixed with a fibrogel. They are injected into the lesion, and over a period of time, they form hyaline-like cartilage. Now, sometimes, as I said, when it's deeper lesions, you need to bone graft them first to get a good subchondral bone before you do the ACI procedure. So greater than 6 to 8 millimeters deeper, do a bone grafting, and then do a ACI after that. Now, sometimes you have massive lesions, very, very big. You know that ACI may not help. And in those cases, osteochondral allograft transfers can be done. Difficult to get them in India, but there are a lot of companies that manufacture them where you get these osteochondral allografts that you can put in a press fit manner after preparing the bed. So this is my algorithm to manage a case with a cartilage lesion. So these could be the reasons for the cartilage lesion: OCD, trauma, OCN in a patient who's younger than 50 years old. If the lesion is less than 2 centimeters, low demand patient, first choice, microfracture, second choice, osteochondral transfer. High demand active chap or woman, first choice, osteochondral transfer, second choice, ACI or autologous chondrocyte implantation. 2 to 4 centimeters, low demand patient, microfracture first, OCT, osteochondral transfer second. High demand patient, first choice and only choice is autologous chondrocyte implantation. Let's say we have a failure here. What we do is a redo ACI or an ACI if any of the other procedures have been done. Those greater than 4 centimeters, low demand or high demand, you do an ACI and or a bone grafting along with it. So important factors to consider before doing anything. Alignment. So unless you correct biomechanics, you are not going to cause the cartilage to heal up again. So biomechanics extremely important, and greater than 5 degrees mechanical valgus, very important. Habit, smokers, healing is worse. Age, best done. Best results of these procedures are in patients less than 40 years of age. And if you have a ligamentous deficiency, correct that before doing any kind of cartilage procedure along concomitantly or otherwise. So this is a animation showing you why when you do a cartilage procedure, it's very important to unload the compartment where the cartilage procedure is done by doing an osteotomy so that the alignment is corrected along with a regenerative procedure. So what are our recent advances in this? So this is the latest thing, particulate articular cartilage. These are two types, which is the CIAS, which uses a autograft, and de novo NT, which uses juvenile allograft cartilage, which are particulate cartilage. So they basically, in CIAS, you basically take cartilage from the patient itself. It's a one-step procedure. Advantage over ACI, you take it out, you take a little hyaline cartilage, you make it into small 1 to 2 millimeter pieces, and you put it into the lesion and then put a fibrogel over it. In de novo NT, the same thing essentially, but they have a prepared juvenile allograft which you can put in, which is small 1 to 2 millimeter chips. Advantages of this, which are very preliminary, 1 to 2 year follow-ups, have shown that the shape of the cartilage chondrocytes are more spherical, more like the original hyaline cartilage rather than hyaline-like cartilage where it's spindle shaped. And of course, the latest is augmentation of microfractures with scaffolds that are available like Cargel and stuff like that, that have these factors that stimulate cartilage regeneration. So ultimately we have this hyaline-like cartilage. We want the one to your right, which is hyaline cartilage. And that's what we want to do, but we haven't been able to do it yet. And we hope future research focuses on this direction.